Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Welcome to our first ever evening edition of this series, because the sound in the original video was destroyed. Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alicia, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. First question this week. First question this week comes from Patrick. Hi Patrick. Patrick says, I know the basic English words and I understand if someone speaks in English. For example, I understand your videos perfectly, but I have problems building correct English sentences, like when I speak with another person. Do you have any tips for how to build correct sentences? I think that this just comes with practice, honestly. It's difficult to do. But I know that there's not always a person that you can ask for help. I will tell you a secret. When I don't have confidence with something, when I don't know how to answer something, this is what I do. I Google it. Seriously, just Google it. I put quotation marks around like the phrase that I'm trying to make, and then I search Google for it. And if it's there, great. Then that means I can use it. Maybe like thousands of people have used that phrase. I know it's probably a common phrase. If there are no results, then that probably means I've made a mistake somehow. So that's maybe one good way to help you as you try to build phrases by yourself. So try that out. Next question. Next question comes from Huang Se-na. Huang Se-na, hi. I love your name, Alicia. Is Alicia a common name in the US? I happen to have a friend named Alyssa. Also, what's your personal favorite name? A common name in the US? Alicia, I don't think Alicia is so common in the US. And when I was growing up, I didn't have any other friends named Alicia. Also, the spelling of my name is a little strange. Usually it's spelled A-L-I-C-I-A. Maybe you know the artist Alicia Keys. That's how she spells her name. So my name was commonly confused as Alicia a lot. So I've heard like Allison and Alyssa and Allie and so on. Those are fairly common, I think. But Alicia, especially my spelling, is not so common actually. So, what's my favorite name? My favorite name is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Next question comes from Long. Is the H sound not always pronounced when followed by another consonant? For example, wall hanger or come back home. Yes, the H sound is often pronounced very softly. It's quite difficult to pronounce all of these syllables clearly. Like in the example, come back home, it's quite difficult to say the H sound clearly. So in those cases, it's quite common to make the H sound quite soft, like come back home. Next question. Romeo from Vietnam. Hi again, Romeo. Romeo says, hello, Alicia. Do native speakers say you aren't gonna blah 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 or you're not gonna blah blah blah? Which contracted form is used more? I think they're used equally, like you can choose which you prefer. Me? I think I usually say you're not gonna. I probably use you are. I contract the you are. You're not gonna, or you're not gonna do something. I probably use you're not more often than you aren't gonna. Next question is from Wagner. Wagner? Have you written any operas? Why do American people pronounce English class 101 instead of 101 or 101? Oh, this relates to like university and college level courses actually. So there are 4 levels to universities or to colleges in the US. First year, second year, third year, and fourth year. So the classes for each of those are numbered. So first year classes begin with 1, second year classes with 2, third year classes with 3, fourth year classes with 4. So first year classes, like it tends to be like the basic classes, begin with a 1, and like the most basic of those classes is usually 101. So like English class 101, that's kind of making like a friendly introduction to English, in other words. So we say 101. We always use that sort of pattern when speaking. We don't say 101. We always use 101 or like 124 or like 367. I don't know what those classes are, but we always say each individual number. Nice question though, interesting. Next question is from Danny. Would you tell us about here you are, here you go, there you are, there you go, and here, there, we, you, it, they, we, go. Oh gosh, okay. I'll talk about the ones that you introduce. What do they mean and how do you use them naturally? So let's talk first about here you are and here you go. So we use these when we present someone with something. So you give someone something. Here you are, here you go. Like you are at a restaurant maybe. Your order arrives. Here you are, here you go. Something like in a service situation, you might hear this kind of from like a friendly like staff-related person, I suppose. Here you are. Here you go. Or maybe from a teacher to a school child, maybe. Here you go. We use it to like present something, to present an object that maybe they're expecting to receive. Let's talk then about there you go and there you are. So we use there you go when someone is able to do a thing they've been practicing for a while. So for example, if a child is learning how to ride a bicycle and they've been struggling with it for some time, but then gradually they get better at it and they can do it. A parent might say, "Oh, there you go. You got it. You got it." It's like a support word, an encouragement word. There you go. The last one on your list, though, there you are. In American English, we use there you are in a situation where we're looking for someone. We've been looking for someone we're expecting to meet, and it's been difficult to find them. Maybe you visit a few different spots, but then at last you find this person, maybe like in a break room or someplace you might not expect them. But when you do find them and you say, "Oh, there you are," we say it with that sort of intonation. "Oh, there you are." It sounds immediately to the listener like, "Oh, this person has been looking for me." Next question. Next question is from LOJ. LOJ, LOJ says, "My question is about phrasal verbs. What is the meaning of knocked out?" Like here, example sentence 1. Knocked me out of my possession. Or 2, knocked the wind out of me. I had a problem with the word possession. Knocked me out of my possession. I'm not quite sure. This could refer, though, to, in a very rare situation, we have this word possession, which refers to like this thing called demonic possession, where there's this idea that a bad spirit gets into the body and controls a person's behavior. We call that possession. So we could say like a priest knocked me out of my possession. To go back to your original question, though, the word knock out as a phrasal verb, to knock out means like it means forcefully or forcibly remove something. Because of some impact, an object is removed from its original location. So for example, a jogger could be coming at me and they run into me and they knock my phone out of my hands. So in that case, my phone is being removed because of the impact of the jogger. So to knock something out means like to remove from its original location from force. In your second example then, knocked the wind out of me. This is an expression we use which means like to lose our breath because of an impact. So if you get like punched or kicked maybe in maybe this area, you might feel the air in your lungs come out of your body. So we call that the wind in this situation. So like he knocked the wind out of me means he caused me to lose the air in my lungs. The impact was so strong in my body that the air came out of my lungs. So he knocked the wind. So the wind, in this case the air, in my lungs in its original location was removed from me because of this impact. You might also hear this expression in boxing, to knock out or to KO someone means to cause them to lose consciousness in this case. So consciousness is the thing that's going away in this case. So to knock someone out in like a boxing match means they lose consciousness. In other words, a KO we sometimes say. The first example sentence is not actually so clear to me. So it's also possible there's an error in the original text. I don't know. Alright, so those are all the questions that I want to answer this week. Thank you very much for sending your questions to me. Remember, you can send them to me at englishclass101.com/ask-alicia. If you like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check us out at englishclass101.com for more good resources. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Ask Alicia, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye! Now I'm totally paranoid about my sound working.
Sound.
It's still working.